Okay.
First of all, stand upright, pull in your tummy, pull in your buttocks, and get yourself feeling in a nice comfortable place. And we'll begin with warming up and neck rolls. So, I can't even remember where I start.
The side to side.
Feeling your head side to side. 5 times each way. Back to centre. Down and up. Down and up. Down, up and hold, and then lift your lower lip over your top lip 3 times. And neck rolls. Do this slowly 5 times in each direction. And back the other way. Back to start, and push your neck forward like a turtle 3 times. Now hold your head and gently pull your ear down to your shoulder once, twice. Now using a strap, arms over your head, we're just going to take your arms in a single plane down to one side, over to the other side, back again. We're doing this twice, each direction. And back to the beginning. You might need to shorten your strap slightly. So you've just got your lower hand at your groin, and we're going to do a figure of 8 with the belt 5 times. I'll do this slowly so you can copy. This warms up your shoulders. And stop for a moment before going in the other direction. 5 times. And then the belt perhaps slightly shorter again. Raise your hands and then lift them over backwards, all the way down, up and all the way to the front. And repeat. That's it, you've now finished with the belt. Okay, arms out to the side, shoulder height. You don't need to hunch your shoulders, just shoulder height. Turn one wrist backwards with your thumb pointing out, and the other wrist forwards with the thumb pointing forwards and down. Look to the thumb that's pointing backwards, and then twist your head to the other arm. Do this 10 times in each direction. hands down to your side, and with your fists closed, open out. And again, open out with your fingers this time as well. You can now release the cushion between your knees. Place your legs at mat width apart, your feet at mat width apart. And with your right arm, take it up and over your head, leaning down with your left to touch the side of your knee, keeping yourself all in a single flat play. And back and over the other way. Repeat. Over with your right arm, and then over with your left. Right, that should have you nicely warmed up. Bring your legs back to a nice standing position. Don't need to touch all the way down, just be comfortable. And we'll just do a couple of balances. So, arms out to the side. Raise your right knee parallel to the ground. At this point I just move my arms in to check that I've got the balance right. I'm always a bit wobbly here. 3 times. And then we go into the tree, knee out to the side, arms up high and down. We're going to repeat that to the other side. Make sure you've got your foot nicely flat on the floor, weight on your right leg, arms out to the side, lift your left knee parallel with the floor, bring your arms in slowly, just to allow yourself to make sure you've got the balance right. And then turn your left knee out sideways, arms above your head. Don't need to touch down momentarily. Some people can do this raising their foot much higher. Just do it as you feel best. The point is to keep balanced, and if you can, opening up your groin. Okay. Now raise your hands up above your head and lean back as far as you can, remaining balanced. Come forward slowly, and at this point, if you can, touch your toes. And then come down to the floor. Knees bent, hip width apart, hands under shoulders, hands facing forwards, and we're going to do the cat stretches. So breathe in, holding your tummy tight, dipping your tummy down and arching your back towards the ground. Lift your head up and arch your back the other way. Breathing out. Repeat this 5 times. In breath and out. Keep your tummy sucked in. In and out. If you do nothing else, this is the one to do when you wake up in the morning. Really gives you a stretch. Last one. In and out. Now putting your toes together, allow your knees to come to the edge of the mat. Sit back on your haunches and slide your hands forward. You may only be able to go part of the way. If you feel that your chest manages to get all the way to the ground, allow your head to sink down too. And rest here for a moment in the resting child position. Right, come back up into table with your shoulders and hands in line with your shoulders, knees in line with your hips, and turn round sideways as if you were looking at your bottom, and the other way. Repeat. we do the cat balances. So for this, make sure that you have your right hand steady on the floor, your left knee steady on the floor, raise your left arm and your right leg. Come back down, alternate, and back down, and we'll repeat that to both sides. And now just to release your back, lean forward, come into the Sphinx, and back, and forward again, and back, and then allow yourself to go all the way down. Put one hand in front of you, rest your head on that, and with the other hand grab your leg and pull it towards your bottom. And then the other side. Now, back up into table, and you are going to bring your right leg forward and do a lunge. There we are. That stretches all the way down here. Turn your foot out and stand up, allowing your weight to be evenly distributed, and raise your arms into one of the warrior poses. So nicely balanced in this pose, and then back, down, into table, and your left leg forward, lunge, turn your right foot out, so you raise up, rest your hand on your knee, yourself up, and arms into warrior pose. Hands back down to the floor, knee down, sit back, and place your feet at either edge of the mat, knees up, and twist your knees over to one side, keeping your body facing down the mat. And then the other side. This is a really good thing to do if you've got an achy back. Just sit down for a moment and do this twist. You'll be amazed how it releases your back. Okay, back into table. And now we're going to lean forward slightly with your hands. Bring your left leg up and over, so it's forward of your body. Bring your foot up as high as you can. Stretch your other leg back and lean down. At this point, you can either put your head to the ground, or I quite like to rest my head on my hands. This should give you a nice stretch across the sciatic. Back up into table, hands forward slightly, bring your right knee up and your foot across, let your other leg slide back down, and then bring yourself forward and rest for a few moments. To begin with, this is quite an uncomfortable position, but having done this for a lot of years now, I find it really restful. Bring yourself back up into sitting position, legs out in front of you, Raise your hands up high. This can be a nice stretch up out of your hips. And allow yourself to lean forward. Now I'm quite flexible, so I can reach a long way. A lot of people are quite content with just reaching a little way like this. Do whatever feels comfortable for you. All the time, keep your spine straight and your head in line with your spine. After a few moments, just let yourself go and see if you can go a little further. Relax into it and sit up. Bend your left leg and your foot into your groin so that your leg is out at a right angle to the other one. And reach over down to your foot. Again, if you can just go a little way, that's fine. Go as far as you can. And relax into it. Up we come. And repeat with the other leg. You'll probably notice that not each side is the same. One works much better than the other. This is perfectly normal. Now, bring both feet together and get them as close as your groin to your groin as you can. Here is fine. Here is where I work to. Grab hold of your feet, keeping your spine as straight as you can, and slowly press your knees down. This is called the butterfly. Probably see why. I'm fluttering my wings. I miss doing hands. I miss doing hands.
Not yet.
I can't remember when I do them.
In the minute.
After. Is it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Kneel up. Now we're going to do some exercises for hands. At this point, place your hands directly in front of your knees. You can have them facing forwards, sideways, or backwards, whichever is going to give you a stretch. And then sit back as far as you can onto your heels. Just rest here for a moment until the stretch just slowly relaxes down your arms. And now, what I want you to do is touch your thumbs to each finger in turn. And again. Make a fist. And bend your fist in and out. Turn them over, up and down, then all the way round and backwards. Shake your hands out. And we'll go on to the last series of stretches. I'm sure I've gone out of order. Holding your knee, lie yourself down, and as you bring your knee up to your chest, rotate your ankle 5 times in each direction. Raise your chin to your knee. Relax back down and pull your knee over to the side. So your leg should be at a right angle, your foot parallel, or your lower leg parallel to your other leg. At this point, bring your arms out, shoulder height, as if you were on a cross. Now, it's entirely possible that you may not get everything flat on the ground, although that's your aim. And breathe into this. Allow yourself to relax. This is a big stretch. Slowly turn your head and look away from your knee to the other hand. And raise your knee back up into right angle. Let that leg fall to the ground. Bring the other knee up. Grasp it and pull to your chest. Rotate your ankle 5 times in each direction. Raise your chin to your knee. And then bring that knee over to the ground, over your body, until that lower leg is parallel to the other one. Place both arms out from your shoulders towards the ground and turn your head away from your knee to look at your other hand. Relax here for a few moments, relaxing into this pose. Bring your leg back, bring your other knee up, and with your knees slightly apart, hip distance apart. And we're going to do a clock rotation around our pelvis. So let me explain what I mean. First of all, imagine that on your pelvis here, in this area, you have a clock. And you have 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. So first of all, you're going to rock between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock just to find those 2 points. And then rock between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock to find those 2 points. And then starting at 6 o'clock, do a rotation all the way around as if you were working round your clock edge to move your pelvic area. This really does free up the area. And don't worry, no one can see what you're doing. 5 times in one direction and then 5 times back in the other direction. Put your legs out straight and put your hands over your head, lay them on the ground in the opposite direction and just stretch for a moment from toes to fingertips. Raise your left arm and your left leg until they're at right angles. Slowly let them go back down. Raise your right arm and right leg until they're at right angles. And slowly let them go back down. Notice that I don't point my toes at that point. And now lift both arms, both legs, and allow your fingertips to touch your toes if you can. If you can only go this far, that's absolutely fine. Wherever you are, now just point your toes, then flex your feet. Point, flex, and then we'll allow our feet to drop out sideways, our hands inside on our calves, just pushing slightly, bounce just ever so gently, slowly keeping that stretch all the way up the inner thigh. and come back into centre. And now we are going to slowly let our hands and our feet go back to the starting position. The slower you can do this, the more it strengthens your core muscles. Last bit's the hardest. Just for a moment, bring your knees up together. Allow your knees to drop out. And rest for a moment. Back up together. Allow them to come up. So you just roll on your back for a minute and then roll up. We're just going to do a couple of twists now, and we're going to go into a slightly slower part of the exercise. Bring your right leg, your right foot over your left foot, so it should be somewhere near the knee of your left leg. With your left arm, wrap it around your right leg and turn to face in the opposite direction. The aim is to get these shoulders in line with, at right angles to where they normally are, and in line with your legs. Bring this hand behind you. And to begin with, and then come back and do the reverse stretch the other way. Legs out. To begin with, you'll find you won't be able to stretch very far. And slowly it becomes easier and easier to do this. Wrap my right arm around my left leg. I have to just release my boobs at this point and look this way. And back round. Both legs out in front of you, sitting tall and straight. We're now just going to twist round. So both hands out to the side and twist without moving your lower, anything from your hips down. Stay still, just your body, your upper body turns round. And back again the other way. And once more for good measure to both sides. That's it. So now we're going to do the cool down. When you go to a class, very often what you do is a complete relaxation, but this is just an everyday yoga stretch and warm up, wake up routine. So what I do is I use the opportunity to exercise my eyes. I'm going to turn slightly towards the camera so you can see what's going on. Okay, the very first thing that I do is the breathing exercise. So I sit myself comfortably, keeping my back straight, and I'm now going to place my middle finger just where a third eye might be and do alternate nostril breathing. So to do this, I press my thumb on my left nostril and breathe out and in through the right. Place my ring finger on my right nostril and breathe in, out rather, and in on the left. Do this twice more. To each side. Keeping my eyes closed, rub my hands together and place my hands cupped over my eyes. At this point I can open my eyes inside. It's just the heat and the blackness relaxes your eyes. Open up, and now we'll do some eye rolls. So imagining that clock again, just in front of you. Look up to 12 o'clock, down to 6 o'clock, over to 3 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock. And then do 2 rolls all the way round in each direction. Blink a few times and we'll just do a little bit of tromboning to alter your focal length. So bring your arm out and with your thumb pointed up in front of you, focus on your thumbnail, and keeping it focused, bring your thumb close to your nose and away again. At this point I find something to look at in the distance, and then bring my focus back to my thumb. In again and out, back to the distance, back to the thumb, in again. Cover up my left eye, refocus on my thumbnail, take it out, back to the distance and back to my thumb, cover up my other eye, over to the distance, back to my thumbnail, back here, and a last one to look with both eyes, away, back to my thumbnail and back. At this point, bring both fingers up in front of us, and if you bring them like this and just focus slightly beyond them, you will at some point see like a little cocktail sausage appear between the two. And then lastly, both thumbs out in front of you. Don't focus on them this time, just be aware of them. Slowly move them outwards and keep tracking them as far as you can with your peripheral vision. Get to the side, at which point drop your hands down, roll your shoulders in a way that tells you you've done a really good job, and namaste.